Hey brothers and sisters, Pastor Josh here, and to invite you to our reopening service on May 24th. It's very exciting. We are opening up our doors back open as the nation cautiously reopens for church. I know technically we could have done it sooner, but we wanted to get some precautions set in place before we rush back in here because the virus is still out there, guys. It's still something we need to at least consider in the actions we take to make sure we keep people safe. So a couple of guidelines, okay? As you come in, we ask that you try to stay 6 feet apart. I know that's going to be extremely difficult, especially since you may not have seen each other for quite some time. You want to give people hugs and things of that nature, and I understand that, and I am not going to be yelling at you if you break that rule, but we do ask that you be respectful. Some people want to keep the distance, some people still want a social distance, and so we're going to go with the rule of trying to stay 6 feet apart per household. Now, what that means is your household, y'all can sit together. Now here's the thing, I know that some of you all have been together in bigger than one household. And so if you've already contaminated each other, I'm going to go ahead with the rule that it's okay for you guys to sit with one another. Now, that being said, we still ask that you keep the social distancing as much as possible from others that you may not have been around. Also, along with that line, we're going to go with every other pew for you to sit in. Now, some of you may not like this because you really like your spot, okay? And I've teased you all a lot about this, but it'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. We will be fine. Okay, there are tons of pews on this side that we don't use and several on this side that we don't use. We can space out just fine with the numbers we normally have and keep everybody as safe as possible until we know that this thing is a little more under control. Also, as you walk in, we will have hand sanitizer pretty much immediately to your right. As you walk in, you get you a little bit of hand sanitizer, sanitize your hands, and then on your left will be communion. We're going to have a preset communion. This is to reduce contamination. Instead of having our big old roll that everybody sticks their hand on and rips off a big old chunk, and whoever's coughing or sneezing as it goes by and all that stuff, we're cutting that out, making it as sanitary as possible so that we can keep everybody safe, respect those who still want to keep at least some precautions in place but still want to come to worship. Okay, we're trying to keep that healthy little balance. And so we will have preset communion as you walk in, and it'll be there for you to pick up and take to your seat. So guys, as you come in, we are going to do a preset, pre-created communion. And so as you come in, you go ahead and grab your hand sanitizer, sanitize yourself as you walk in, and then we will have communion set up on this nice little red table here, and then you can go to your seats. Okay? We also ask that you try to limit handshaking and hugging and kissing each other on the cheek as much as possible. I understand we haven't seen each other in a long time, and if one person is comfortable going ahead and giving you a handshake, that's okay. I'm fine with that, but I ask that you be mindful that some people are not going to want to shake your hand and some people may not want to give you a hug, and please don't feel offended if they don't do that, okay? Some people are still taking precautions to protect not only themselves but others that they may love. And this is still a super contagious virus that may have been not quite as deadly as we still had thought, but it's still pretty deadly. So there's quite a few people have been harmed by this. And so we still want to continue to take precautions. There'll also, right next to communion, be a drop-off area for your offering. So as you walk in, you can lay your offering down, or as you walk out, you can lay your offering down. And when we go to communion, we, instead of doing our normal pass the plates around, I will call on a deacon. They'll stand up, I'll call on our elders, and they'll stand up, say the prayer. We'll do our spill with the communion, and and things that we do every week. And then we'll take our communion, and then I'll have the other elder give us a blessing of the offering that has been either already dropped off or will be dropped off as we leave. And so we really appreciate your cooperation with that. As of right now, there will be no Sunday school or children's church until at least bare minimum June 15th. And as I start talking to our Sunday school teachers and stuff, or precautions we may want to take to keep our children safe and others in Sunday school, we ask that you respect that boundary, and we will cut that off until June 15th, and then we'll start that back up. Unless further notice, okay? So we may start that sooner, but right now, June 15th. Now, this may seem a little bit common sense, but I want to go ahead and say this. If you have an elevated temperature or you're feeling a little ill, we ask very respectfully that you stay home. We want to keep everybody as safe, and that should go for every Sunday forever, okay? If you are sick, please don't try to come and contaminate everybody else in church. We know that's not why you're coming. We know you're not trying to get everybody sick. You just want to worship God. You feel like you need to come. But God understands that you're sick and that you need to protect those you love. And stay home and protect yourself and give yourself some rest. And so if you're feeling ill, you have an elevated temperature, we ask that you stay home. Now, with that being said, our precautions can only go so far. I can't force you to wear a mask. It's highly recommended. I can't force you to wear gloves. It's highly recommended. If you do so, I'm not going to make fun of you, and nor am I going to force you to do so. That's not what we're here to do. But if these precautions are not enough to make you feel comfortable, feel free to join us online. We will broadcast at least the sermon online. I'm going to put a poll out and ask those of you on Facebook if you want to broadcast the whole service or just partial service, just the sermon part like we normally do, and we'll leave it there. And you can join us online and watch it that way. That's the best, but we're doing the best we can with the resources we have without making people feel like they're walking into a foreign place, something that is uncomfortable for them. And so, just a quick recap. We ask that you stay 6 feet apart from those you haven't been around. Okay, I know that technically Andy Brashear put out there per household. I know many of you have been around each other quite a bit already. I'm not enforcing the 6 feet rule really strictly. I'm just asking you to respect people that you may not have been around as much and keep your distance. We're going to be sitting every other pew until we know that this thing's a little more under control. And then we also ask that you sanitize yourself as you are entering the building so as to not contaminate the church. With that being said, that is all I have about the reopening. If you have any questions, feel free to call me and I will answer them the best you can. You can either message the church and I'll answer it directly, or the congregation members. If you don't have my phone number, find an old bulletin. It's on there, okay? And you can reach me off of the number on that bulletin. And that's all I have for that. Thank you. God bless.